Hello and welcome, heroes, to the Crit Academy. I am your host, Justin.
I'm your co-host, Ian.
Did he come through? Did you guys hear him?
He didn't speak.
Can you do that one more time?
Oh, you're talking about Ian?
Check. Check.
There we go. Okay.
I'm your co-host, Ian.
I'm your co-host, Brandon. I'm usually guest says their name first.
Generally.
Yeah.
Oh, do they?
But
No one said
okay.
anything,
It's
so
okay.
I
It's
did.
all right.
And I'm your guest, Austin.
Thank you for joining us again, Austin.
Yeah.
I liked you so much, I invited you on again.
Yay me.
So don't succeed too much.
Please no.
There's more to that. This podcast was created to provide you, our heroes, with new and reusable material for both players and DMs.
We hope to inspire you with creative content that you can bring with you on your next adventure.
Our show may not be suitable for young children, but neither is our D&D games.
Talking about the internet's for porn.
I mean, true.
Thanks for joining us today here at Crit Academy Studios, where everything's made up and your roles don't matter.
Yep, that's right. Your rolls are like a weapon or armor without any lore.
Yeah, then they're just that basic-ass equipment, and nobody likes that shit. I mean, let's be honest. I think we've touched upon some of that shit in the past about giving your equipment some interesting story. Well, today it comes with our main topic. It'll be interesting story and benefits. So, but moving on to our main topic today, we are going to be discussing Ancestral Weapons.
This one's actually super exciting today.
It is a supplement on the Dmsguild by the Dungeon Rollers, specifically by Matt Vaughn. Is it Vaughan or Vaughn? Is that Vaughn?
I think
Vaughan?
Vaughn.
Vaughan?
Vaughn.
Vaughn.
Cool whip.
If you don't know what this supplement is, it is... In 4 days, it managed to become a platinum bestseller. So obviously, people are loving this shit.
4 days?
Yeah.
If you remember one of our first few episodes, we talked the DM tip of evolving weapons, where weapons evolve through quest lines and stuff like that. That's kind of what this is, and
More
he
or
did
less,
a
yeah.
really, really good job on it. So, actually, since you're our guest, would you like to tell us specifically about Ancestral Weapons? What?
Tater.
It's Tate. Brandon is the warthog of Crit Academy since he sounds just like an A10 when he farts.
I'm sorry. I try to edit that shit out, you guys. I really do. Like when he had gas went really bad when we had a guest on. The guest was talking. He went over there, and I'm trying to edit this shit, and you can hear him start. Yeah, that's really. Yeah, that's really. I'm like, how am I supposed to edit that out? Like I had to drop the audio down and shit, and you can still hear the rumble through your headset. It's
Oh
terrible.
my god.
So sorry.
So Austin, would you like to tell us more about Ancestral Weapons?
Think about just through this? Oh, okay.
Yeah, just go through the first little paragraph there.
Okay.
And if you can make it sound
Like that
less
one right
reedy, yeah, that would be
Okay.
fantastic.
Less reading.
Less reedy?
Yeah, don't be a noble blade wielded, and that's what Brandon does.
Hey, shut up.
Oh my god. A noble blade wielded in the Blood Wars, an axe used to protect the great city of Mirabar from orc invasions, or a powerful staff passed down through the eons. Ancestral weapons, heirlooms, are iconic within role-playing. These weapons embody a character's family, story, and their history. These characters are as important to many characters as their race,
These
class,
weapons.
or background. These weapons are as important to many characters as their race, class, or background. To these people, the opportunity to carry these items in their adventures is the true reward.
Dude, you sound like a commentary from Vsauce or something.
From what?
Vsauce. It's a science podcast on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, you sounded really dope.
Woo!
I guess I should open up my
I
shit
did
now
it.
here. I had it open. Where'd it go?
Spirit weapons. Spear weapons. We're not Yu Yu Hakusho. What's going on?
I like Yu Yu Hakusho. Fucking shit's the bomb.
Absolutely.
See, he gets it.
Spirit gun? Double!
Oh, yeah, that was stupid. Okay, you just made it.
Nah,
not
that was
cool.
great.
No,
That was a
it
great
wasn't.
moment because
No,
he was
it
just
was
like, oh, he
stupid.
can't do that. And he totally did it. And
No,
you're like, wait a
that's
minute.
fucking- no.
Hadu. You can't say Hadu twice and Hadouken to make it stronger. That's not how it works.
It's like Kamehameha wave.
Oh, god damn it.
I still need to come out here sometime with you and do that binge watch on Yu Yu Hakusho because I still haven't seen that.
I wasn't that my
Are you
rewatching
fucking
that.
kidding me? That's it. I'm officially gonna make you guys are gonna come over. We're gonna have the projector on. We're gonna fucking watch some Yu Yu Hakusho.
We were supposed to do that like a year ago.
Uncut.
I'm doing it. We're
Because
taking
we
care
got
of
on the
business.
subject of it, and you're like, yeah, I love Yu Yu Hakusho, and I love Sailor Moon. Did you know that the creators are married? Said, yeah, I didn't know that.
Wait, really?
Have you seen Yu Yu
Yeah.
Hakusho? It's
I
like,
did
no, I haven't.
not
What
know
the
that.
fuck did you just
Awesome.
say?
Yep. And the
Said
guy
I
who
haven't.
made Hakusho the thing they made Hunter x Hunter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't know
Which
they were
is
married?
awesome.
Which is why the main character's dad looks a lot like why am I blanking on the other main
Yusuke?
character's name? Yusuke, thank you.
Yusuke, you're a meshi, a delinquent who likes to beat your fucking face in just so he doesn't have to do homework.
It's true.
Anyways, so god damn it, people.
Punish you in the name of the moon.
Yeah, wait.
Hey, look, the progress we're supposed to be making, and here we go. Like there's the route, and we're just fucking
Literally every D&D campaign ever.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
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 Fuck. You know how hard this makes my editing and more work I have to do, but I love it.
Some
so
of this
it's
you
okay.
brought on yourself.
You know what? God damn it! Yu Yu Hakusho's awesome. I don't care. So you might be asking yourself, so actually no, you're not. Who gives a fuck? So this is a really interesting idea. So this is a really interesting idea. So the idea behind it is that as your characters get stronger, instead of constantly looting new weapons, they have a weapon that's tied to their family, to their history, to their backstory in some way, shape, or form. And using this unique spirit point system that Dungeon Rollers came up with, you can evolve and change your weapon as you level up and start to give it very specific properties that mesh with your playstyle, which I think is just glorious.
Absolutely.
Because instead of finding, you might find a magic weapon that's useful for you, instead you get to mold it and shape it to what you want. Kind of like having a wish list item of magic items and then your DM just giving you what you want. This way it has these interesting features that kind of mesh together to your build generally. Or either to enhance your strengths or even make up for some of your weaknesses, which I think is just fantastic.
And a lot of the stuff they add in here in the supplements was actually stuff that was by default baked into 3.5 or Pathfinder. So
Yep. So it's
they-
stuff that's been used before.
just not in 5th edition, which is too bad.
Right.
But
Now, before we get it, there are a few things. There are a few of the features that I personally have a problem with, and we'll touch on a few of them.
Yeah,
Well,
me and you
I
actually kind of went over these.
it's not perfect. But
Yeah.
still,
Yeah.
And I think that I've actually seen Matt, to my understanding, has already made an update beyond what we have here. So this is something that is evolving, kind of like his weapons. But so take it with a grain of salt if there's something that you feel like might be unbalanced. With all the feedback that's coming back from players such as ourselves and from DMs, he is making the necessary adjustments to make sure that everything is within the right cost and balanced very well. So kudos to Dungeon Rollers for that. That being said, what type of person wields a ancestral weapon?
Anyone.
I was going to say someone with daddy issues.
Oh, God.
Probably because they're dead, right?
Yeah, so any character can it says that any character can wield an ancestral weapon, but this should either be worked into your character's backstory or an item that's been handed down to the character in a role play situation. Because an ancestral weapon that is found or taken off a corpse probably would not allow the person to access its power. In certain circumstances, it's generally that it's tied to some sort of
Like blood relative.
yes, or a personal connection when the weapon is passed to you. So if you just steal one of these weapons from somebody, like let's say Austin pisses me off and I off his head, taking his weapon's probably not going to benefit me that much.
It'll probably just be like a useless longsword to you.
Yeah, so I do think that is really interesting. It still have a badass backstory, but it would just be a weapon with no benefits.
this weapon has been passed
If
down
anything, it might even,
throughout
like-
the generations of the Armstrong family.
Could you actually make it so like the weapon could just curse the wielder instead?
I don't see why
I'm
Make
not.
it
sure
haunted?
you could.
It's like
I
a
don't see
haunted
why.
weapon?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's
That'd be kinda
cursed
cool.
weapons all the time. We'd be like, yeah, it's don't shit belong to you. Or like in a previous episode, you could just have the Gith Yankee come and fucking reclaim it because it's theirs.
Mine.
So
Mine.
So the big balance here is the spirit point system, and Dungeon rollers, or I probably should just call him Matt, because that'd be a lot easier. So Matt has decided that, your characters will earn roughly 1 spirit point per level. It's not exact, and you don't have to give them every time they level. You might be able to wait till they get to level 3 and give them 5 points or something like that. They give them more at 8. So you as the DM kind of have control, but it does give you some guidance on that aspect in Chapter 1. And it basically gives you a spirit point rarity system. So they can be stored for future uses, right? Basically, filling the artifact with the power. Now, to my understanding, it doesn't say there's any requirement of where you have to be or what you have to do to infuse these weapons. Is that correct?
No.
As far as I know.
So as a DM, I probably would add such a feature. Like, if you're going to infuse the weapon, it has to go to a specific forge, maybe a mystical forge, or you have to find a specific person to help draw the power out and push it in, because I wouldn't want people just changing this shit all the time.
Or you could take a long rest and commune with the ancestors.
See, I thought about that.
I was
that's
thinking
still a little stronger. And
either it's like a prayer ground even. Almost
like a hallowed ground.
Yeah, like
but
a
still
commune with the dead.
Still a location, right? Somewhere to focus
something
the
not
power.
To make it, or something so where you have it like, you can't just be like, oh, now it suddenly has
lights on fire.
Yeah.
And that was kind of something personally that I would avoid.
I don't know, because I could see an ability being unlocked in in the middle of a dire situation.
See,
for more epic.
You know what? And I think that would be a special cause, right?
Right.
And I agree.
An exception case.
Yeah, because they do talk about that.
I think I think they do.
He does talk about unlocking the powers during heroic moments and stuff like that. So that makes sense.
Like unlocking the ability to cleave multiple enemies at once when you swing it, if you're doing a last stand against a horde.
Right. Yeah, and they do touch on that, but the thing is you can actually change the stuff as you get more points. And because of that, I wouldn't want to just my fire sword now does this, instead of fire, something like that. But anyways, that's just a personal thought of mine. So anyways, they do have a rarity table saying how many points a rarity for the skills, right? So a common ability has 0 skill points, an uncommon is 1 to 4, a rare is 5 to 9, and so forth and so on. We're not going to get too much in detail into that because there's a lot of shit to cover. There are certain stipulations, though. There are some restrictions. Brandon, what are some of the restrictions that come with buying these upgrades or purchasing these upgrades?
I don't know because I can't have the book
Page
and the
4.
show notes open at the same
You
time.
don't need. You won't need the show notes if you have the
won't
book
need
open.
the show notes anytime right
Not
now.
until we're done with the book.
So here's.
So what was the question?
I guess.
What are some of the restrictions?
Let's see. You can never have 2 upgrades with the same name. Some
Okay.
upgrades have a level or a subtype displayed next to their name. These upgrades count as having the same name for the purpose of duplication.
Right, so you can't stack, Keen on top of Keen on top of Keen, basically.
Or 2 proficients.
Or 2 proficiencies of the same thing, yeah. So, also I think
Stack.
you have the limited feature. Some of them have a limited tag. You're limited to only 2 features that have the limited tag, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And once again, that's a internal system for balance, because balance is super important, right?
I actually kind of about the whole limited thing. A lot of the ones that are limited anyway are kind of high cost as is, so it's kind of hard to have more than 2 anyway. But
So Matt's just covering his ass.
right, which is fine. I mean, I get it because I bet there's because if you go to maybe even though you're level say 15 or something, and you have access to tier 4 abilities, but you could still go back to the tier 2s, you know what I mean, and still pick up 4 of those. Just be yeah, I can also fly. My sword's on fire. I can have true sight, and I have something else.
Oh, and by the way, I have 1-hit kills.
Yeah, may as well.
It is worth noting that you must be in possession of the weapon to gain the benefits.
Yeah.
Somebody takes it away, no more benefit.
And we did cover the fact that they're broken up into 4 different tiers based on your level, right?
We have not. That's a good point, right?
Yeah.
So for basically every 5 levels, it breaks it down into tiers for that. So 1 to 5 is tier 1, 6 to 10 is tier 2, and so forth and so on. So some of them do have attunement, right? And which locks you into the 3 attunement limit. So there's another balancing tool, right?
Mm-hmm.
So keep that in mind. And lastly, you can replace upgrades with ones that are already there, and that goes back to what I was talking to about. I would require like a forge or something. I don't want you saying, "Oh, it's no longer a flame blade. It's a fucking I can fly now."
It's no longer a flame blade. It's an ice blade.
Yeah, there you go. Something like that. So that's just something personally I would do. I do agree with Ian, though, that if, they unlocked it in mid-combat or something, slaying the... I mean, how badass would it be for Ian's character to charge in and he's about to get the last blow in, he hits, and I just describe his blade bursting into, fucking flame because I know he wants the infusion, effect.
Right.
That would just be badass
Or
to
like-
everyone involved.
Or like you're fighting a dragon, and like right before you do that final blow, you unlock the giant bane feat, and you just see the dragon just cleave in half, and you're just like, wait a minute,
That would be
Or
my
fucking
sword
dope.
can't do that.
What's that?
Or Dragon's Bane.
Or Dragon's Bane, yeah.
That'd be badass.
So that would be pretty dope. So
Yeah.
before we move on to what's really interesting, talking about some of the features, is there anything else that we didn't really cover? Now, there's a lot more detail into this stuff, and you can pick up your copy of the book in our show notes, or head on over just to Dmsguild and pick it up. But
I do have one more thing I want to talk about that.
Go ahead.
We'll talk about it probably later because I know it's in the later chapters, but the Ancestral Traits, or the Ancestor Traits, they kind of like not necessarily change your character, but like they kind of like hint your character towards like certain things.
Yep, they give minor effects and like quirks and stuff.
Yeah.
Yep, we will talk about that in
And
more detail
I
later.
do really like that.
Yeah, because that builds on the flavor of the weapon, right? Like if you got like a holy avenger that pulls you to be a good person, something like that.
Yeah.
So, and they got tables for that. So we'll talk a little bit about that. So obviously we cannot possibly go through every single one of these. So I figure we'll each, we'll do a round robin. We'll each pick one in the first tier and talk about it, then move on, and we'll do that sort of thing.
Okay.
So that being said, once again, Austin, because you're the guest, what is one of your favorite tier 1 features? What upgrades?
Sure. I'm going to call these the 1-point wonders because that's exactly what they are.
1-point wonder.
But the Death Ward is ridiculous. It gives you it's 1 point, so no high investment or anything like that. It's not limited or anything, and you have advantage on death saving throws.
Ooh, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, 1-point wonder. Literally.
All right, okay, so now here's where the game really gets interesting. How do you envision that functioning from a roleplay perspective?
So I also kind of want it to matter what weapon you're wielding too. So say I have a longsword, like the one that I told you that 1 point was the one that's like whenever there's bloodshed on it and it glows red. What if it's trying to save me, all the blood that's on the blade just soaks into my body trying to revitalize me?
Oh, that is fucking cool.
Or we can do it if I'm like, say, the Holy Avenger archetype, like the blade is like trying to glow and like there's like just like the hint of a spotlight from the sky coming down onto me, and it's like trying to like just like hum into my heartbeat and bring me back.
Oh. Or if you've got like
Right.
the first thing that came to my mind for this was like a defibrillator, like your thing, electricity rushes through your blade.
That'd be great.
And,
It'd be great if you had lightning infusion. Just
fucking shocks you awake or some shit into stay helping stabilize you.
Right?
So very cool.
Yeah.
Brandon, which one do you think is really cool? What is one of your favorite ones?
I like Marksman.
Oh yeah? Why don't you tell us what Marksman does?
Marksman is used for ranged weapons only.
Yeah.
Surprise.
It is 3 spirit points, and this weapon does not require physical ammo.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
That's a nice one.
Now, I know there's lots of DMs and parties out there that don't really keep track of arrows and ammo.
I never did.
But I actually enjoy the ones where you do have to keep track because it gets more. What's the proper term for it?
Realistic.
Realistic. You get into
Gritty.
it. Yeah, depth.
So so it's range weapon only. How many spirit points does that cost?
3.
So that's already significantly more than your death ward.
Yeah.
right? So that's a pretty high cost. How do you get the most out of this from a roleplay perspective, you guys?
For Marksman?
Yeah.
Guys, do you have any idea how light my pack is? 'Cause I want to carry how many 100 arrows with me.
Just, you know that you have it, that the rest of the party doesn't. They don't need to know. You just take your arrows and throw them off a cliff. And they're like, you're the ranger. What the fuck are you doing?
You're like, guys,
It's
watch
like,
this.
you're going to find out soon.
And
So
could you imagine just like it's a spectral arrow too?
Right.
So does that mean that like if it hits into the person, like it just disappears?
Just sizzles?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be cool.
So like you have just like you're like the just ghost sniper essentially. That'd be bad.
What I think is really cool, you could really flavor these ammo to fit your character's theme. Like for instance, let's say you run a lot of ice or elemental effects. So if you draw back and a little bit of like a frost arrow appears out of nowhere,
I swear to fucking God.
and then as you pull back,
No.
nice
No.
and tight, and you just hear in your voice,
No.
let it go, and an ice arrow streaks across and catches the guy, and then fizzles out of existence. Or
What I was thinking, shut up. What I was thinking is, this is a spectral arrow. I really like the idea of the spectral things, because I love the occult and the undead and all that stuff when it comes to D&D, because I like the creepy heebie-jeebie type things.
Yeah.
And thinking that you pull your bow back and this ghostly arrow forms, like you're
Yeah.
saying, and when you release it, it doesn't look like an arrow as it flies through the air. It looks like a rail from the rail guns from Quake, where it just leaves a trail. And as it hits the person, it doesn't stick to them. It shoots through them, and you can see part of their soul being taken with it.
oh, that is cool.
That is just
Way better.
That is way better than just a
Way
ice,
better what I was thinking.
ice thing. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, let it go. You fucking
And
dick.
remember, it's ammo, so it can be anything. Even if you use this shit with a sling, man, just fucking chucking out spectral boulders that are just way too big.
You just I just imagine you just pull back a sling and there's just an arrow notched into it and you're just like
Well, I play Spellbreak, and one of the sorceries is you can launch a boulder and it gets bigger as it travels. I would love having a little sling with nothing in it, and then as I release it, it starts off as a pebble, and as it gets farther, it gets bigger and bigger until it hits him in the head. That's how Goliath got it.
Catch the ball, son. I got it.
Oh, fantastic! That's a good one. Hey,
man.
Ian, which upgrade is your favorite?
Well, there's quite a few to pick from it.
Oh yeah,
one,
there is.
obviously,
There's
but,
a lot.
yeah.
but one that stood out to me for role-playing purposes, at least, is the Ritualist, which is another one spirit point enhancement.
1.1.
And this one is the time to cast ritual spells is cut in half.
Yeah, that's actually insane by the way.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Because casting rituals,
It's like,
at
what,
no
50 minutes, usually?
I think it's 10 minutes onto whatever the normal cast is.
Right.
So if it's an action, it takes 10 minutes.
Yeah.
If it's an hour, it takes an hour and 10 minutes, I believe. So that's really nice, especially if you like to cast shit like, say, Find Familiar
Or detect magic.
or Detect Magic. I mean, that is fantastic, because one of the risks of plotting out and doing all the shit that involves a ritual, planting down your fucking candles and your hieroglyphs or whatever, takes a lot of time, and that's when the bad guys catch you. So being able to cut that in half makes it effective even in a rush. So I think that you're right. That is really cool. How many points is that?
Just one.
And there's no other restrictions?
Nope.
None.
Wow, that really is a 1 point wonder as well, huh? I really like that. Is there anything
There's a lot of just feats that are just 1 point that are just kind of ridiculous.
yeah,
Like quick.
Yeah, like quick. Yeah, I have advantage on initiative, by the way,
that's pretty dope.
for 1 point.
Yeah, that's okay.
That
I
rogue
can
just
see that.
suddenly got insane.
Guess what my swashbuckler's taking?
It's just like, oh my goodness.
I had some picked out that I was going to talk about.
I was gonna say, which one did you want?
Spell Link.
Spell Link?
Yeah.
Is that that's not a limited one, is it?
I think it is.
Oh no, oh yeah, oh no, it's just one that's towards the top. Oh no, it is limited. You're right. Never mind.
I gotta find it. Where's it at? Oh, I found it. So the one that I really thought was interesting was Spell Link, which basically says you gain an additional level 1 spell slot. And this spell slot is refreshed out on a long rest. It costs 2 spirit points. It's spellcaster only, and it's limited, which means if you get 2 limited, you can't get any more. But I think this is fantastic because it overcomes one of the biggest problems for the warlock specifically.
Yeah.
Is not enough spell slots. Now it doesn't recharge on a short rest, but every single warlock slot matters. All slots matter.
Like, wow. I mean, Warlocks are stuck with only 2 until level 11.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
so
kind of ridiculous.
that's a huge buff. And I'm specifically thinking warlock with this
Yeah.
feature, but obviously it applies to anything.
Maybe your sorcerer is just friggin' batshit crazy and
Well,
wants to just keep throwing stuff out.
And it also, actually, now that I think about it, it also works well with the classes that are like 1/3 caster, like the Eldritch Knight or even the
yeah.
Paladin,
Yep.
who only get a few
they-
slots.
Would they count as spellcast? Oh, I guess they
Yeah,
would,
yeah,
right? Because
yeah.
they have just a spellcasting.
Now,
modifier
Divine
and whatnot.
Smite, it's not a spell, but everything else, a lot of the other stuff they
Right.
cast is a spell.
Yeah.
So those classes then get a little bit of a bump up on resources, which is important. I mean, one extra smite is huge.
I'm still amazed to this day how many people argue whether smiting counts as a spellcasting or not.
Actually, I saw a sage advice recently that says smite can be used in an anti-magic field. So there you go. Resolved.
Right.
Not a spell. It's magic. It's just not a spell. And for whatever reason, it doesn't. It still works inside of an anti-magic field, and that
Which is
just
kind of impressive.
blows me away. So, but that's a whole nother
Because
thing
it's
to
from the-
bother. Whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there is a whole ton of these. Obviously, we don't have time to go through all of them. Maybe we'll touch on some of the different levels as we make our way through the next tier. But how many? Do we know how many total? Somebody want to count that?
I think they said there's
I'll
a
have to count.
Wait, how many
Like on tier 1?
how many in tier 1? Oh god, I have no idea.
There's a lot here.
There's a lot.
Yeah, well, that's good enough.
Well over 20.
So now moving into tier 2, this is the 5+ upgrades, right? Level 5 or up.
About 34 in tier 1.
Wow, that's a lot.
Jeez.
Austin, what is your favorite tier 2 upgrade?
Let me get to it.
Now, keep in mind, when you have points, you can stack as many of these as you want. So if you want to do a bunch of one-hit wonders, as long as they're not limited, you can.
Yeah, it's
So you can have a bunch of minor of effects, while Billy over here has one major effect, you know?
one could have infusion, which is like a 10-pointer, but like the other guy has like all these wards, so he has advantage on every saving throw.
Yeah.
um
Are you guys watching the chat by chance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
okay, I'm going to go with
Hi guys. Hi Tater.
Can you guys try to pick your stuff before we get there?
I already did. Hi Saver.
he can go first, it's fine.
How y'all doing?
Brandon, what is your favorite tier 2 ability?
Are you enjoying the brewery? Transposed.
Okay, what is transpose and what is its requirements and all that jazz?
Transposed cost 2 spirit points. You can use your bonus action to summon or dismiss this weapon to or from a pocket dimension.
That's actually super badass.
That is pretty fucking cool. That's like similar to like a warlock ability, right? With their packed weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that how that works? So anybody can, dude. That is awesome. That's like Shardblade level shit, man. So how do you envision this working? Like from a roleplay perspective, how would you summon and dismiss your blade or weapon? Well,
I'm really not sure because there's so many different ways to think of it.
well, for instance,
My favorite flavor of making any kind of weapon appear, usually if it's magical or something, is when you slap your hands together and as you pull it apart, it's just appearing in front of you.
that's pretty
Ooh.
cool. Reminded of Kaze no Stigma, where she says, "In Raiha, come forth," and the blade of fire. It starts off as like a flame and then turns into a blade. That's pretty cool. I know in the Brandon Sanderson series, which you can get the Audible book, for free if you go over to critacademy.com and click on the Audible link.
Man, these sell out fast.
Huh? That's a lot fast. And their blades turned into like mist and puff away in like 10 heartbeats or something like that. It's pretty dope. Another thing that I think is really cool is when you've got like a reaching into like a hole and just pulling the weapon out that way is kind of cool, or reaching around your back and grabbing something that's not there and then having it appear as it you imaginarily unsheath it is pretty cool. The last thing is like when you're charging towards and assaulting somebody and you pull off a wicked cool maneuver and the blade just appears as you make contact. I think that would be cool. What about
Or
you?
just like rips out of the ground.
Oh,
just
that's cool.
Just
Like
appears in your
Full
hand.
Metal Alchemist.
Kinda, yeah.
Doesn't he like slam his hand on the ground and then pull the item out of the ground?
I was thinking it just literally just comes straight from the ground, just comes right
just
into
up in your hand and you catch
just
it?
like ejects.
That's pretty cool.
You
What
can-
about you, Ian?
You can earn money.
Now, there's
doing
a
it.
few that I could pick from that I like quite a bit, but the one I'm gonna choose because I'm staring at right now mostly is is Doomerang.
I was actually thinking that one. too.
Doomerang?
Doomerang is
Doomerang.
great. You basically just become a Jedi.
Let him what the do his thing.
Yep, Doomerang
Jedi.
cost 3 spirit points, but the weapon gains the Throne trait.
Okay.
And we use it this way, the weapon flies back to your hand at the end of your turn, and any creature in the past must make a DC 10 dex save, suffering a D6 damage of the weapon's type from a failed save.
It's
Makes any weapon the Throne trait.
Yep.
And
Fucking
also
launching
weapon-
like two-handed weapons at people.
just whip that great axe down at them.
Whip it good. How many points is that?
3.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, it's not.
So you basically get an extra source of damage. And this also solves the problem of people who want to do like dagger builds where they're throwing daggers all the time and don't want to chase them down.
What are you gonna do with that big ass mallet?
I was just watching Black Clover, and he's fighting one of the main characters is fighting this guy, and he's flying around. You'll never hit me with your stupid sword, and he just throws the sword, and catches the guy in the shoulder. He's like, I didn't expect that.
Who does this?
What's really cool though, if you run this with like a high dex character or a high mobility character, you could then throw it and then move into line up enemies, so that when it returns, it hits a couple of them, right? Which I think is
'Cause it can hit more than one,
fantastic.
yeah.
That is really, really cool. So now, when it comes back, is it just toppling end over end, or is it like Mjolnir and it's just like flying in one direction?
Probably just in one direction, right? Just slaps through guys. Then it'll literally just like the object you throw is immovable, so it'll just slap right through them.
Bitch slap them as it's flying by. That or I guess for me it would probably depend. If I was doing a maul, I think that would make more sense. But if I was like throwing a greatsword, I would like have it like
Just cleave through
like
them.
just spinning like a a top or something as it's like a lawnmower blade. I would be a stupid ass. What you do in your downtime? I mow for a living and throw my thing and just mow everyone's crops.
Just Doomerang lawn.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I also just love the name, just Doomerang.
Boomerang, that does
Right.
dope
It's not
as hell.
boomerang, it's Doomerang.
Die, motherfucker, die. What about you, Austin? What do you got on your
Boomerang.
list?
So I really like two of them.
Gotta pick
One,
one.
I love the simplicity of Charged Smite, which is just a 2-point, but it's for paladins only, so it is a little bit restricted. But when you deal damage with the Divine Smite feature, you deal just an additional D8 radiant damage.
Okay,
which
that's nice. It's a damage buff.
Yeah, it's just a solid, nice damage buff. But the other one was
Way to
Underhanded.
be a cheater, by the way.
Huh?
Way to be a cheater.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna go with Underhanded, but I was like, no, this one looks good.
Yeah.
Tell us about Underhanded.
So it's only 2 points. You can use a reaction to cause a melee attack targeting you or an ally within 5 foot to be made at disadvantage. If this attack misses, you must complete a short or long rest before you can use this ability again. So you can keep using it until it works.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I like the little the safety net, so it's not a wasted ability, but it still can be used at least until one time.
Underhanded?
Yep.
You can use your reaction to cause a melee attack targeting you or an ally to be made
Really
at
good for rogues.
disadvantage. Yeah, so that's really cool that it doesn't expend it until it's successful.
Yeah.
That is a very neat feature. I agree. So how do you think that works from a roleplay wise? Are you
I
like
would
throwing sand
think,
in somebody's eyes?
I don't know.
Pocket sand.
Like I was thinking
Pocket
like
sand.
maybe like
Kick him in the dick.
I was thinking like maybe like the weapon just kind of like reacts, so that way like it'll just like almost do the movement for you, and the way it imposes disadvantage is it helps you just parry the blow
Okay.
for you.
That almost seems sentient.
Yeah.
At that point.
Which kind of they are in a little bit of a way.
You think
but
so?
Some of them can be.
Yeah, I can. Some of them can be. I agree with that.
But if not that, then like maybe I don't know.
See, to me, I think for me, this is a really great example of an ability that you can reflavor however you want.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it would be depending on what type of class I'm running. If I'm running a bard, this is another shit-talking ability. Right, I just smack talk, and it's a cutting words that disrupts the enemy. If I'm a mage, I might say that I do a quick burst of light or something like that, and it blinds them.
You could even say that, like, if you're just a rogue, you just throw the dagger down at their foot real quick, and like it just makes them miss.
Yeah, like one thing I did, like I'm thinking like Naruto. You know how they throw the kunai with the little explosion tags?
Yeah.
Like they throw a little small one that just puffs and distracts the enemy, throw it at their feet. If I'm an archer, I'm shooting arrows at their feet to make them kind of do one of the dances or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like this is a really cool feature because it has so much role play. Shit, I need a word to finish that sentence. Role play opportunity.
Yeah.
So, Brandon, how do you see that working? Anything jump out at you?
Not really.
Okay, good. We'll move
That's
on.
fair.
So what did jump out at me though?
What's that?
Doomerang. What if you use Doomerang on a boomerang? Would it just keep spinning around you?
I don't know.
It's just an infinite loop of boomerang.
What is that? Like Alucard or Richter in Castlevania with the stupid cross, or the book that flies around you repeatedly.
It's just this sentient boomerang that hits anything that's near you. It's probably not sentient. It probably just wants to hit anything that comes into contact.
So the upgrade that I think is really cool is called Wild Spell, and it's a 3 spirit points, and it's druid only. When you use your wild shape feature, you can expend a spell slot of a relevant level to ready a spell. Once during your transformation, you can use an action to cast that spell.
Yeah.
So this is letting you cast while shapeshifted. Now just envision that for a second. Now the obvious thing is, oh, I turn into a bear and open my maw and shoot out a fireball. Fucking fire-breathing fucking bear. That's dope.
I would go down in legend.
I did the one thing where I was dragonborn and shapeshifting and opened my maw when I was in a polar bear and breathed like cold out. But what really is interesting is you can get so much fun out of this. Could you imagine turning into a spider, sneaking into a room, and then releasing like a sleep spell or something on everybody? They'll never know where the source comes because there's no save. They just are out.
Yeah.
So
or you could just cause a giant blizzard like Matt.
Yeah.
As
Right
a
in
spider
the middle
on the
of
wall and just
little tendrils like flailing on the side of the wall as you're channeling this attack. To me, this is really cool because it takes something you can't normally really do at all. You can't usually cast while in wild shape form. This lets you do that, whether it's a stored up heal spell, whether it's a blizzard attack or a fireball. I don't know why I said fireball. I don't know that they actually get fireball. I'm pretty sure they don't. Anybody know that for sure? I'm pretty sure they don't.
Yeah, I don't think they do. Actually.
But anyways, that's just an example. So all you haters, fuck off. What do you guys think about this wild spell, this shape-shifting and casting spells?
I didn't know you had the inability to do spells when you were in wild form.
Nope, can't talk, can't cast spells.
Yeah.
You can.
So the can't talk
You
thing.
can concentrate on a spell while you're shape-shifted, though.
Okay.
Hence the Thunderhawk combo.
Right. I think one of the examples they actually do is like Call of Lightning, and then you can shapeshift and keep Call of Lightning going. But this is really cool because like maybe I want to store it as a healing spell for myself, right? Maybe my trigger is when I take damage and I instantly heal myself.
That'd be kind of cool.
So that's just some examples.
Especially when you're a big bear and you're just like, oh, I just tanked a whole bunch of people. I'm gonna just get right back up.
Yeah. So to me, this is really cool, and I think the flavor really comes as describing how that creature you are casts something. I mean, I think it's just hilarious. A little tiny like fucking bird, fucking what is the example I saw? I saw somebody talking about turning into a squirrel in fucking Call of Lightning on the tree branch, and a little squirrel's got his nuts in his hands and he's shaking them, making thundering noises and shit. You know, and I just think that shit like
Or
that
a
is
bear
a
just
lot
like
of fun.
trying to talk like, it's like, is that bear trying to say something? Did I hear lightning?
Come, lightning.
This just made me think when you said you're a bear and you use a healing spell. It comes in the shape of a salmon. You're like, oh, I feel better.
Oh man, you could see what kind of stealth attack you could do. You totally could fucking turn into a salmon swimming up a stream to the bastard villains while they're fishing, and fucking lightning bolts shooting out of the water from a fish.
This is why I have trust issues.
This is why I don't go fishing anymore.
Oh,
That
man.
sure is a fancy looking eel.
So before we move on to tier 3, I do want to give an honor mention to Keen.
Keen.
And I specifically want to give this a dishonorable mention, actually. Where the fuck is it?
Oh, it's towards the top. It's a limited one.
Are they in an order for limited?
They are.
That's
They're always
why I
towards the
can't
top.
figure it out. Okay, so I wanted to give kind of an honor mention to Keen. So Keen says your weapon causes a critical hit when you on a d20 if you roll a 19 or a 20. Matt, I'm going to be honest, I think this is worded poorly because it totally strips away the advantage of being a champion fighter.
That's
Yeah.
because it's not meant
So-
for champions.
Huh?
That's because it's not meant for champions.
No, but that I still think that it should be worded in a way that it just increases your range, crit range by 1. So that way...
Well, actually, that is how Keen's were in other editions. Like,
Yes, but this is a different edition. So...
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
there is...
I understand how Keen works in old editions, in 4th edition, in 3.5. And my point is that I think that this would be better suited as an increasing your range,
So
crit
you're-
range.
But it's not meant for
So
for
that way
champions.
you mean like a champion, if it just had increased crit range by 1, champions would very early on be able to do 18, 19, and 20.
Be able to
That's
benefit
why they
from
don't
it,
do
yeah.
that.
So that's
Which
my
makes sense,
personal
I
feelings, and I know Mr. fucking 3.5 over here has got to stick up his ass about it, but
No,
also
stick.
means-
I don't have my stick up my butt about it. I just disagree
I
with you.
also want to say that would also be very kind of problematic down the road because there's a keen level 2.
Yeah.
So it would increase it by 2, and then champions, when they get to like level 20 or something, their crit range is
Do you want
Be
champions
huge.
to turn 16?
25%.
when was the last time you guys played with a champion fighter?
Yeah, I haven't.
Yeah, nobody does because it's not interesting enough. The point I was trying to make is this would make that build very appealing.
You would be like literally just like a sword master from Fire Emblem.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to bring that up because it's Fire Emblem and that's considered a weeb game now.
What? Fire Emblem's dope, man. Fuck everybody else.
No.
You don't like Fire Emblem?
Well, I mean, it's not a weeb game.
Well, some people consider it, I guess.
Unfortunately, nowadays it kind of considered is. But
who
I
cares?
want to say that like it's literally just like you're just this guy with 25% crit chance all of a sudden. What do you do? Like
You fucking wreck shit.
yeah, you just walk up to a guy and you're like this silent swordsman type and you're just like, I'm gonna kill you. And they're just like, I'm sorry,
You
can you
just,
say
did
that more?
the, you just did the I'm Batman thing, like in a different tone. That's great, or a different voice. All right, so Ian, what is your favorite? What is your favorite tier 3 feature?
Tier 3 feature. Tier 3 feature. I was just staring at one a second ago that I liked. What? Oh, yeah. One that was pretty decent was that Rapid Strike. And this one actually has 2 separate costs, depending on... It's 4 if it's melee, 6 if it's a ranged weapon.
Okay.
I do like this one a lot actually.
Yeah.
And when you make an attack with this weapon, you can use your bonus action to make an additional attack, but against a different creature within range. And you don't add your ability modifier to the damage.
I can see why they made it cost more for ranged, because that would be much easier to attain from a
yeah.
range perspective than it
Yeah.
would melee.
I'm gonna shoot this guy from 300 feet and shoot the other guy from 300 feet with my longbow.
I think this is really cool. This is one of the examples I think that is least flavorful. I think.
Yeah,
Because really you're just granting extra attacks to people.
That's okay.
you just gain like a swift burst real quick.
Yeah. And I guess you could do that like as a special form, right? Or with a bow and arrow, I guess you can like lop on fucking several arrows at once and loosen it. I guess.
like-
That's a really cool ability though, because anytime you get extra attacks, it means you can clean up enemies a little quicker.
Mm-hmm.
So, go ahead. You were gonna say something.
Oh no, you're fine.
Oh, well, like, Captain Marvel has beat Black Panther for biggest opening weekend.
Oh, jeez. Awesome. All right. Brandon, what is your favorite upgrade in the 3rd tier?
Indomitable.
Oh yeah,
a
and
good one.
Why is that?
It's a really good
Indomitable.
one.
Well, first off, it's level 2, so I assume that means you have to take it at level 1 first.
Nope, not true at all actually.
No?
No.
It just means you can upgrade it from level 1 to level 2. So
Yeah.
you actually can reduce the cost from level 1 to level 2. It's
Oh.
pretty good.
It costs 3 spirit points, and when you are reduced to 0 hit points, you can immediately take the attack action using this weapon before you fall unconscious.
That's a heroic moment right there.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna
absolutely.
die, motherfucker. I'm gonna get you.
Could you imagine if you award that to a player mid combat?
Oh, that would be so awesome.
Like
a
say-
self-sacrifice moment.
Yeah, like he just stays back. He's like, "I got this, guys," and like just for that like last vestige of moment he has in his eyes, he's just like, oh, I'm gonna die right here, aren't I? And he's just like, nope, I got one last swing in me.
And maybe that's all it takes.
Hey, maybe.
Oh,
Gets down to
man.
the last enemy or something.
That's really cool.
That
I
would
like
be
that.
really badass.
That really
Maybe
fits
be
with
one.
that theme very, very well.
Also, I think the samurai class, is it samurai? I forget what it's called. It's in
The
the fighter
Kensai?
class.
Oh no, is it a samurai? Is
Is
a
it
samurai a
samurai?
class?
It's an archetype.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
But they have something very similar to that. It's
Oh,
like
okay.
a level 17 ability. I don't remember, but it's very, very similar.
Very cool.
So you could have it. I wonder how you would work that. Would you be able to do it twice, or would you just
I don't know.
be really weird? Be kind of cool.
I think it would be cool, but I don't know how.
I don't
how
know.
you'd
Yeah,
really
I don't
run
know.
that.
I'd have to look at it again, but
I still think one of the best self-sacrifices I've seen in any of the games that I've played, and I think you were running it, was everyone was in this perilous danger, and Anthony's character, he knew that he was so low on HP and that he wasn't going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
So he grappled 2 enemies and threw himself to this black hole worm portal, whatever, killing himself and the 2 that he took with him. And he was like, "Well, that's it."
You weren't in the game following that. About 6 or 7 months later,
that's bad.
we ran a game where we were looking at a battle on the other side of the Shadowfell, and there was Anthony's character holding off darkness.
Oh my
fighting it.
god,
It was dope.
that's chilling, dude.
It was awesome.
Oh my god.
So here it is.
He's
We
just
thought he was dead, and he's not. He's
going.
still fighting, holding off the darkness from
Oh.
crossing.
Oh my god.
It is pretty dope.
That's some more Hammer 40k low.
That
crap
was
there, man.
that's like that's like
That's some
Raw.
deep shit.
that's
no,
give that man a fucking medal.
Well, there actually is a character in Warhammer 40k that actually is his thing. He killed a demon during his very first battle, but then he got sucked into the other chaos plane.
Uh-huh.
But then he's like, I'm not gonna leave. There's lots of demons to slay here.
I got stuff to keep me busy, and I'm gonna have fun.
Oh my god.
So that's a really good one. That Indomitable one works really, really well, and that comes at different tiers and different levels. So very cool.
Yeah.
Austin.
Mine's kind of one of the more simpler ones in this one, actually. It's Brawn, and it is you cannot be knocked prone, and you have advantage on grapple checks. And the way I kind of envision it, when the whole not being able to be knocked prone, which, by the way, that means immunity to this, by the way, which is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
For a 3-point ability.
That is pretty dope. Is that got a limited?
No,
No, it
is
doesn't.
completely regular beyond that. But what I kind of always want to envision it is say say Tiamat just came out of freaking nowhere,
Right.
and just spawned in. And you're just like, oh, well, and upon her entering, everyone just gets they get blown away, but you're just still standing there, you just stab your weapon into the ground, and you just hold yourself in place. You're like, nope. Not today, motherfucker. You came to the wrong realm.
You do that heroic pose where the blast is done, you stand up with the sword and you throw it to the side, and you're like, and Tiamat's all, well, fuck me.
How?
I'm gonna make you my pet, Tiamat, and I'm gonna name you Fluffy.
Man, it's just it can create some real badass moments. I know there's some people who grapple you, right, and they can knock you prone and stuff, but you just refuse to be knocked prone.
Yeah, that for those of you that don't know, going prone and being grappled at the same time is a huge detriment because every melee character gets advantage on their attack rolls, and you have disadvantage on your attack rolls.
Joke's on you. I have advantage versus range attacks.
So being able to ignore that condition altogether, I'm gonna be honest, seems kind of powerful.
Yeah.
But it's very situational, right?
Right.
So, I think it's very cool. How does that roll role play wise? Is it do you only go down to a knee or something? You take a knee?
Probably.
Did you take an arrow to the knee?
That's kind of how I did envision it, though, right?
She's at
You
home.
just, instead of maybe I don't know, your ancestors just gave you strength, and you just they help you willpower yourself to just not be knocked prone. Maybe it's
Right,
a
right.
reflex thing, maybe it's a weird premonition you get depending on what class you are,
I like that.
or maybe sound like you got something.
I don't know where this came from, but I imagine someone's come up to you and you're getting into a bustle in a pub or a tavern.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Then they push you, they shove you, and you go to fall down, and you fall down at a 15-degree angle and you just kind of. You float right back up to your feet.
What if
and
you
you're
had-
like, what the fuck?
What if you just had like a, say you're like a mage and you have like a staff and you took this and you're just like, nope. And then you're just like, that's not how that works,
If
buddy.
you can never go prone, can you ever go to bed?
You have to fucking sleep standing up in a closet.
You have to,
That way
like-
so you don't fall over.
You have to like put the sword away or something real quick. You're like, I can't touch you right now. I gotta go to
Yeah,
bed.
yeah, that's
if
pretty
you
much
can't
it.
go prone, can you not get in cover?
You made a good point. I totally, for an instant, forgot that they have to be wielding the weapons. That would be the only. So now I'm just envisioning as he's being forced to be, if somebody's slapping him and he's going to fall, his weapon just acts like a kickstand. Just holds him up.
And I don't know
Oh
if it's
my
in
God,
this
that's
one
funny.
or if it's in, I believe, tier 4, but I think. Also, shout out to Sustaining. It's another 3-pointer. You do not need to eat, drink, or sleep whilst this weapon is in your possession.
Yeah,
so
I
I
saw
guess you
that.
don't need to sleep anymore if you have that in prone.
So what is it, like fucking photosynthesis? It's absorbing sunlight and like feeding it to you or
I
something?
mean, it could just be like absorbing just all the magical essence of the world, since that's
Just
what the
feed you on
material
raw
plane
energy,
is, right?
like fucking.
It's just
you-
a siphon.
I imagine I got a little dagger, and on the end of it, like a light of looks like a marshmallow just appears, and you eat it occasionally. It's a marshmallow of energy.
There's like, wait a minute.
Oh my god.
Where'd you get that?
So
Your enemies don't bleed. Why are they bleeding? Because their calories are going into me.
so one of the ones that I really like is the third tier elemental manipulation. It costs 5 spirit points. When you cast a spell with a spell slot that deals acid, cold, fire, force, lightning, necrotic, radiant, or thunder damage, you can substitute that damage for one other type from this list. And you can change only one damage type per casting of the spell for spells that do multiple, elements. But to me, this is really cool. And in fact, our gun mage is actually built around this type of feature, where you have the flexibility to change the elements, the elemental flavor, for the purposes of overcoming resistances and attacking weaknesses and stuff. And that's why this really stands out for me. I think we had a magic item once, like an amulet, that did something similar that allowed you to change a firebolt into any other element too, which was really nice. So to me, this is really cool because I love flavor. And if you got a character who wants to fit a theme, and we'll go back to the Elsa reference, or Electro or something, you want to fit that specific theme, this type of ability allows you to do that. And I think that's really fantastic, as well as allow you to bend it to change. So when you do, if you're fucking trying to rock a Johnny Blaze or something with all fire, being able to occasionally change it so you're not getting stiffed by fire resistance would be fantastic.
That makes me think of when somebody took a cover from an old module of a party of 3 about to engage in combat with a flaming skeleton. But somebody changed it to, guys, just because I'm a flaming skeleton does not mean I want to fight you.
So, the way I kind of... Hang on, I gotta drink.
Wobbles.
Yeah.
Time is more like a big bowl of wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
So the way
It's one
I
of my
kind
favorite
of...
scenes.
The way I kind of envision this working is, like, for instance, I'll use Fireball as an example. You channel the energy in your hand and it turns into a fire, and you reach out with a finger and you pull on a weave of thread, and it turns to a different element as you pull out a red thread or something like that. I think that would be really, really dope as hell.
Or you just go, and just, now it's an ice ball.
Yeah,
And
that
just
seems
throw it at
that,
somebody.
see,
But
that
that's-
sounds less
yeah.
cool than
I see it
pulling
more
on the
like-
threads
right.
to change it.
Is it more like you can change it based on the elements around you? In a way, like you can draw it from it. So yeah, you make the fireball, but you blow on it and it turns into ice.
Oh, that is cool.
Or you hold up into the air and it gets struck by lightning and it turns to a ball of electricity.
Or you snap your finger and it turns into a
Thunder.
like a thunder.
Oh my God.
That's awesome. I love it. Fantastic. Let's move on because this is taking far longer than I thought it would.
Oh, there's
Um,
just so
There's
many
just-
awesome
yeah,
choices.
because, Again,
There's
there's just
so
so
much.
much.
So, is there any 4th level tier spell that we can kind of all universally say is pretty dope?
Blood Drinker, level 2.
Yes, I think that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. So we'll
It's
talk about that
pretty
one
neat.
and one other one. What's another one?
I like homing.
Homie?
Yeah. I liked Beacon. It's just so, like, it's crazy.
Let's do Beacon and Blood Drinker.
Beacon.
Yeah.
So the Blood Drinker costs
Beacon's
7 points. If the D20 roll... If the d20 roll for the attack made with this weapon is a 19 or a 20, you gain temporary hit points equal to the damage dealt. That is a very powerful ability.
Picture critting with a paladin with this ability.
Oh my god.
This suddenly
And
makes
with-
paladin into like
And with our house rules,
Oh god, yes.
they just
it's full damage.
just
Oh, I got something in my throat.
they may as well just call you like I don't know what your character's name is, but it's like Obsidian the Blood Drinker now.
I think this is cool because it says blood drinker, but once again, you can reflay this a couple different ways. Let's say you would strike with it, and you mentioned briefly the blood running up the weapon and into your arm and filling out your body, and then casing you in like a bloody flash of bloody armor. Or
Ooh.
as you slit through it, tears parts of their soul away, and then their
That's
soul
way
gets
better.
sucked into the blade, and
like a-
your soul is mine.
Hey, guys, that paladin just hit that dude with a smite. Yeah, and, well, the paladin's now glowing gold
I'm sure we can handle him.
with white eyes.
Oh shit.
I need help.
Did he just go Super Saiyan?
Crit using a fireball and 9th level spell slot.
Well, I think it
That's not how
says
that
you have
works.
to make a attack made with a weapon. So
With this weapon.
yeah,
Yeah.
not a spell. All right. So tell us about Beacon, there, Austin.
So this is like a weird like support kind of like ability. You can use an action to plant this weapon in the ground. So kind of like you're just taking your longsword or something, you're just shoving it in the ground. And for the next minute, whilst your weapon remains planted, the weapon glows with a divine light, shining bright light in a 30-foot radius and dim light for an additional 30 feet. All allies within 15 feet gain a +1 to their AC, and their attacks deal an additional 1d6 of force damage. Any ally that can draw a line of sight to the weapon can use their bonus action to disengage and move directly towards the weapon. You must complete a short or long rest before you can use this ability again. However, I do want to say, short rest would be kind of ridiculous to be able to just like, oh, I'm going to take a nap and now I have it back.
Well, you don't even need a nap. Just fucking bandage yourself up and.
Yeah.
So this is pretty cool because it lasts for 1 minute. It really is a potent ability. It says divine light. Once again, I think this could be flavored a number of ways.
Oh, absolutely.
A holy fire, a dark shadowy cloud. Obviously, I think that this is really cool. This is very much a support ability so the risk comes inherently is not only will you lose this ability when you put it in the ground, you'll lose any other features you have.
It's true because you did leave the
Blade in the
blade
ground
in possession.
and I
yeah.
think that is there for balance purposes. That's gotta be
'Cause
because if you could
it's
just run
really
around with
good
this
too,
thing.
yeah.
I mean, but all the bonuses. And so the way I see it, let's go back for the golden light like Ian was talking about before. As they get close to this, all your allies start to begin like maybe they grow like little like holy wings, and light starts to surround them, and that's what's protecting them. Or if you've got fire, maybe like a phoenix rises around your allies and wraps its burning feathers around to protect them in this extra armor. There's so much
pseudo angels for a second.
Oh yeah, there's just so much you can do with this, and I think it's fantastic. So
Yeah.
all right, I think that's gonna do it for. There are so many
There really is.
options inside the upgrades, but that's not all. So, Austin, you mentioned earlier ancestral traits and personalities. There is a huge table that is designed to give your weapons ancestral traits. Is there any one on this table that really jumps out at you?
Can I say 2 of them?
No.
Okay. So I really can. All right. I'll do the soldier's savior. It just for whatever reason the weapon you hold allows you to know wherever the closest source of alcohol is. It'll point you in the direction of it, and you just like. Could you imagine being like, say your weapon came from like a deceased soldier, like family relative, and like you have it in possession. So like eventually you just like maybe you didn't have like a taste for alcohol before, but like now you do,
You
and
have
like
a
you're slowly
undeniable
getting
thirst.
it. And because you always just happen to know where it's at, and you're just like, well, I'll just try once.
Yeah, and these are meant to be small and subtle effects, but they're enough that can drive roleplay opportunities, which I think is really cool. Brandon, is there one that jumps out at you?
Malice.
All right, and what does that do?
Any other creature who lifts this weapon suffers 1d4 of piercing damage.
Oh my
I
god.
also like that.
Have you seen Blade? That's the first thing that comes to mind. If you've not seen Blade, when somebody picks up Blade's weapon, like blades shoot out of the handle. If you like don't hit a little trigger switch, that's the first thing that comes to mind when I saw this. That happened in Blade 1, right? Where the guy's like, look, I got Blade's weapon, and his hand exploded.
Oh, man.
That's pretty cool. So there's a lot of different subtle stuff. They also give personalities. The one that really jumped out at me is calculating. When you find yourself in a confrontational situation, the weapon will encourage you to bide your time and not rush in. I think this is hilarious if you rolled this randomly and gave it a barbarian had it. Okay.
He's like, wait.
He's like, I'm going to crush you.
Wait, Moose.
In a minute.
He's like, but I'll wait for the boulder on the side of the mountain to fall first.
Right. So there's a lot of these are D20 lists, so you can roll and pick your poison, I suppose.
Violent.
Yeah, violent is a very hilarious one. Actually, I wanted
What's it say?
When you are presented with the options, the weapon will try to subtly push you in the direction that would see more bloodshed. So I'm a paladin who got this, and perhaps maybe next time I really want to get rid of the evil that I see in my way.
I will coat my blade with your blood. What did you
also-
say, Phil? Nothing.
Which also goes in tandem with the battle bred one, which is you get a sinister red aura when it has.
And if you really wanted to fit these to your theme, you could pick these to go with whichever features you're planning to get, like Blood Drinker, for instance, would go really well with that. So
Just made me think of Caboose. What does he say? You wanna? Does anyone else hear that voice inside their head that says, "Kill your allies before they can kill you"? No. Wait, do you really hear that? No.
I think it goes. Does anybody else hear that voice? What? You know, the one in your head that tells you to kill all your friends before they have a chance to kill you. Wait, you don't hear that?
That's so funny.
Hold up.
Caboose is threatening me again. I don't think he has the intelligence to do that, and I think you're taking my words way out of context. Also, you didn't threaten to rip my head off and give the church as a Christmas gift? Of course not. He's like, I don't have time for this. As Church walks away, he goes, don't ever be alone.
All right, so as if this hasn't already given, as if Matt and the guys over at Dungeon Rollers, as if Dungeon Rollers hasn't given you enough content, they actually give you a whole chapter on creating your own non-ancestral weapons, which I think is fantastic. Step-by-step guide to making them magical weapons and not ancestral weapons, using all the features that he's collected together, which makes super easy to build magic items. Now, we've built a magic item using the template in this book. Did you build it as an ancestral weapon, right?
Yes.
Okay. So they do give you that option for the non-ancestral, just so a magical item.
Yeah.
There's several examples in here. We're not going to go through them, though. I think the name Volcanic Blade is fucking dope as hell.
Yeah, it sounds great. It's like,
So-
man, that sounds cool.
Additionally, they go into detail on crafting magical items, which I think is just fantastic, because that's another thing that's not super well developed in the current
Yeah,
text, if I'm not
not
mistaken.
at all.
So,
At least compared to what it used to be.
right. And once again, they give you some examples of crafted weapons. Dirk of the Twin Fang sounds dope as hell. We're not going to go through all those because we don't have all day to read the in-depth descriptions that they've got for these things. One of the last things that I think is super important, whether you're running an ancestral weapon or you're just running a normal weapon, they give you Chapter 5 on weapon history, which I think is awesome, because one thing that I've always tried to instill in myself and by extension my players is that when you have been an adventurer for a while, your equipment should mean something. Either it's something you got as an heirloom item from a family, or something that was passed on to you by your mentor, and something that existed in some capacity before you got it and had value. And they give you a whole section of charts and stuff to roll up that tells you who the wielders were, how long it's been around,
Who even created it?
who created it. Maybe they've got the Feat of Legends section where it says, this item was a ruler offered their lands in exchange for this weapon, or a previous wielder gave up their love in return for this weapon.
I wrote that down. I chose that one.
Did you really? All
I
right, well
rolled
that'll
4 and I got it. I was like, all right, here we go.
that'll be in our example, I guess.
It's great.
It says, or this weapon was used in a ritual to banish a demon or a monster or something like that. So even just the one-liners make your weapon feel cool, right? Far beyond what it would otherwise be.
And also, you can reflavor these too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You can change them up quite a bit. There is something in here that I think is unique and I've never seen before. The materials of your weapon. Like, I know everyone's done, like, adamantine, right? That's, like, the strongest metal or whatever. But this talks about the type of wood that's used, and it gives you a list of different types of woods and a different types of metal. I never thought to make a weapon out of electrum. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
This wizard staff is made of mahogany.
I'm so surprised it's not on there.
Mahogany?
Yeah.
And what's cool is they also go on to give like identifying features, which once again, these things stand your weapon apart. And while you can do it for your ancestral weapon, these also are great just for any item you want to give out. If you're a DM and you're going to give out just a +1 blade, add some of this shit to it. Give it some love. Combine it with the DMG, where you have the small minor quirks and shit.
Yeah.
Making them all very interesting. All right, so they give a plethora of very detailed examples of ancestral weapons.
Emphasis on very detailed.
Like there's an entire little pamphlet written here about the Griffin's Rest. And if you love lore and you love your weapon having value and a backstory, these are the weapons to use. We're not going to get into a lot of detail because we're running low on time, but I cannot recommend this enough. What's cool though is they go in order by rarity, right? So it gives you Griffin's Rest at a common, the features it has, all the way up to legendary. So you can see the weapon's progression if you want to introduce it into your game already laid out for you. So I think...
And of course they have the super in-depth crafting table as well.
Is that in depth? That's pretty bland to me.
I mean, it has one for every spirit point and like every value you need for it, right?
Cost wise, yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. That didn't impress me that much, but
I guess
it's there.
Okay, Shania Twain.
it is there. That's kind of the point.
I'm not impressing too much. I don't even know if that's the
That
line.
don't impress me.
Oh, that's
much.
what it is.
Ah.
All right, so overall, guys, I think that'll do it for our main topic, the Ancestral Weapons by Dungeon Rollers. What are your guys' overall impressions of this?
It is very neat.
Fantastic.
I love the idea, and I think I might want to use it for my gun mage.
Okay, so we're now at the point where we want to have a mech campaign where we can create our own ancestral weapons. Got it.
Yes. So actually, I did talk to Austin about this briefly, and I have considered allowing this in our Dragon Heist campaign.
Okay.
And then after that, we're going to. I want to do this mech fucking Eberron or not this mech Ravnica adventure sometime too.
My mech won't move. Did you turn the key? Of course I turned the key.
Did you push the startup buttons first? The what? The startup buttons. Mine doesn't have that.
Why are there 6 pedals if there's only 6 pedals if there's only 4 directions?
Don't remember up and down, you jackwagon.
All right, I think that'll do it for our main topic, Ancestral Weapons, weapon creation rules from Dungeon Rollers. This is an amazing product. Like I said, it's platinum bestseller already in 4 days. That is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't even begin to understand what an accomplishment that is. So what?
Do they have another product that's made them popular?
Yeah, they mentioned some
Yes.
stuff at the end of their document.
Yeah, there's a lot at the end. See,
Okay, so that may have helped in the...
and this one's an Electrum bestseller, and they got a couple silvers. But they got a pretty big following already. Anyways, so that'll do it for our main topic. Before we move on to our final topic, we have another gift to give away. Compliments of Loresmith. Ian, who's our winner today?
R5 Jimin 38.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Congratulations, R5 Jimin 38. If you enjoy the adventure, please let Loresmith know. Leave him a review. Tell him what you like. Leave him a review of his product.
I do gotta tell you, though, when we were looking at...
Running out of time. What? Go ahead.
Remember how we were talking about Beacon?
Uh-huh.
Said all allies within 15 feet get +1 to their AC.
Isn't it 30 feet?
Yeah.
It's 30
15.
feet wide, but
Oh,
15
right,
feet
15
from
foot
Yeah.
radius.
I think at DM's discretion, I would try and make an anti-beacon. That's nice. Where enemies within 15 feet get -1 to their AC, and they take D6 damage. Instead, you okay?
I'm fine.
No, he's not.
I do see what you're saying, though. That'd be kind of cool.
That would be dope.
Yep.
So, like, you can reverse the effect, I guess?
Yeah, instead of light, it's dark.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Like the 15-foot radius is just black. You need dark vision to be in there.
That'd be
Type of
neat,
thing.
actually.
Or Devil Sight. Dark vision doesn't even work. All right. Moving on to our final segment, our Unearthed tips and tricks.
Yay.
Ian, would you like to tell us about our character concept today?
Our character concept is the reluctant heir. This character is the third son of a noble and ends up stealing the family's sword and what the?
What the fuck?
Hey, I copied that right from your shit, so if it doesn't make sense, that's because how you typed it out.
I was given the guideline that was probably half
And
asleep.
ends up going off.
Okay, it ends up going on.
Yeah.
Oh boy. And ends up venturing. This
Want some
character
help?
is the third son and ends up stealing the family's sword and ends up going off adventuring at the death of their father. His actions are a result of discovering that his elder brothers are not legitimate heirs,
Uh-oh.
which even the father was not aware of. And he knew the family sword can only be wielded properly by the family bloodline, so he took it to preserve the family's secret and for the honor of his brothers, who he actually loves and respects, and wants to protect not just them, but their reputation. And he has no interest in whatsoever of becoming the head of the family.
That sounds like an ancestral weapon that won't work if it's not in the bloodline. That's fantastic. I remember you just recently texted this to me, and I thought it fit this book.
That's why I
Absolutely.
texted it to you.
Perfectly. I think this is a fun character concept, especially if ancestral weapons are a thing. And if they're not, as a DM, I would use this as a powerful hook to make it a magic item via a quest or something. To unlock that, lock that, or give them some sort of like etching on the side of it that had some sort of riddle on it, and if they followed the riddle or they conquered it, it led to some sort of magical effect. And
Mom has something to explain to do with this background.
What's cool though, and correct me if you guys think this is wrong, that this could almost be seen as a dishonor, and the brothers might misunderstand and try to hunt down the heir
Yep, totally.
because you just stole a family relic
Yeah.
away from the heir.
Don't worry, guys. I'll bring it back. If you happen to, by the way, have a kid with a family from, from a spouse, if you marry this family,
So that would actually make them
well,
An heir?
the nobles.
right.
Everyone's related, cousins.
Oh, that's gross. I think this is
It's historical.
I think this is a fantastic character concept, and I think fit this theme very well.
Oh, absolutely.
So
How's your sister doing? Oh, we got married on Tuesday.
I'm not no. I'm not referring to like marrying siblings. I mean, like, okay, these cousins are actually part of the bloodline when you go back a couple generations.
oh, okay, that's still gross.
We're
But
going to
that's
make
how-
our own
that's how it
generations.
was, right? Oh God, dude. All right, that'll
West
do it.
Virginia.
That'll do it.
Thanks,
for
Tate.
God damn it. That'll do it for our character concept, the reluctant heir.
I'd like to date someone from outside the family.
We call it West Virginia because we got jealous.
Our monster variant is the Drow Hunter. The origin for this is the Drow Elf. So I actually took one of the Ancestral Weapon features and gave it to a monster. The new feature is the Hunter's Watch. The Drow may use its reaction to make an opportunity attack against a creature moving within 30 feet of it. A creature hit by this attack must make a DC 13 Dexterity saving throw in addition to any damage caused by the weapon. On a failed save, the movement is reduced to 0. Now, basically, this is somebody running and you shoot them with an arrow at their feet and they stop, or you pin their foot to the ground or something along those lines. What makes this so dangerous is that the ranged weapon on the Drow has a poison that can poison you and potentially knock you unconscious.
So like if they hit you, not only are you stuck, now you're having even more trouble trying to move around and stuff.
Yeah, well, the poison will give you disadvantage, but it might, if you fail the save, it'll just knock you unconscious.
Oh.
So now there's 2 opportunities in a round that this thing can trigger those effects, making them that much more deadly. This is fantastic because if I shoot you once, hey, might get you. But then if you try to charge at me, I get to shoot again. And that's fantastic. It's a very good, well-built, interesting build. I like the Hunter's Watch feature. We didn't discuss it too much, but it obviously is meant to keep people at bay with a ranged weapon, which is just fantastic. What do you guys think?
It makes me think of Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, for some reason. When you're in Gerudo Valley, and the only way to get past the guards is to knock them unconscious using arrows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which isn't realistic at all.
Well, it depends. You shoot them in the head, they're unconscious. They're just also dead.
Yeah. I guess depending on how you word it, yeah. I guess you got
Or you can put a boxing glove on the end of it. Oh, my God.
big
This is
old
why I
rubber
like
bolt.
Alex Ross.
So just a big old rubber bolt and just
Rubber tips. Fucking beanbag tips.
I hit him with the
Ballistic
blunt
arrows.
end of the arrow when I fired it.
Oh, my God.
Get-
I like this monster. It adds a level of difficulty and gives that extra action economy that sometimes is necessary. So that'll do it for our monster variant, the Drow Hunter.
Yeah, that made me think of like Elite Saber Duel in the Tenchi series. Wow, he's not dead. That's because I'm him with the back of the blade. What the?
Oh yeah, because his swords are.
It's a lightsaber.
Oh, I thought you said, what did you? I thought you said I heard Kenshin.
That's a Tenchi.
Oh, Tenchi. I heard Kenshin. I'm like, wait, reverse blade sword.
And it said lightsaber duel too.
Anyways, Brandon, would you like to tell us about our encounter of the podcast?
Our encounter comes from patron Joe.
I love you, Joe.
Patron Joe.
It's called Muddy Ambush. Up ahead, you see a path split, one branch heading left around the bend, and the other heading right. Both disappear around a corner, 40 foot down. Between the paths is a heavy dusting of chalk powder that covers the cave floor. The patch extends 15 feet down either path. A DC 20 perception check reveals a thick, clay-like mud beneath the chalk powder. When a creature moves 5 feet across the mud, they must make a DC 12 strength check to move in any direction. If the save is failed by 5 or more, then that creature has disadvantage on the next save.
Fuck.
that's rough.
Once a creature gets stuck in the mud, a small group of kobolds, 2 to 4, begins to attack with their slings from around the corner on both sides.
I hope they have spectral ammo.
Right.
So he gives you some tactics
Womp.
to go with this.
Ooh.
In the tactics, the kobolds will move out of a cover up to half their movement to get back around the corner. The kobolds will target light sources first to take advantage of their dark vision. As soon as a PC gets across that mud, the kobolds will flee deeper into the caves, readying the next trap.
Are you kidding me with that, dude? Please read that again.
Why?
Readying the next trap, not re-dying.
Redying. There's an A in there.
That's how you spell readying.
Yeah, I know. There's an A in there. I didn't see it.
A's here are optional. Please redo that. Just the last part there.
In Genesee Public Schools. Readying the next trap.
So I released a patron story time in regards to an article I was reading called Killer Kobolds. And there was a lot of this in there. They aren't staying to fight. While you're trapped and stuck, they're fucking you up with rocks and then running away and then doing it again. This is a very powerful combination, especially as you can impose disadvantage on the next saves, making it that harder to get out. So you're just gonna get you're gonna get stoned to death. What do you guys think about this?
Throwing rocks, running away, and doing it again. It sounds like Baghdad.
Oh no!
Wow.
Oh no!
That's not good.
I
Pretty
hope
sure
I have
we
my
did-
kite shield with me today to block these rocks.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know, man. That ain't gonna help you if you're stuck in mud and shit.
Yeah.
He did mention that he nearly wiped his had a total party kill with this counter.
Sorry.
How would you guys feel about this? Being stuck in some shit and then getting pelted with rocks.
I hope somebody has levitate this early on.
Yeah, these
You
are
mean the enemy actually used tactics?
what are tactics?
They didn't just run at me and hit me with their stones.
Right, and I like that he specifically calls out they try to target like light sources and stuff. That's a subtle thing, but that's a big thing.
That's trained kobolds.
Yeah, not stupid. I think this is a fantastic encounter. I think it's a lot of fun, and I think it would really fuck up some even higher level characters to an extent if you had enough kobolds running out. Because basically what they're doing is they're running out, throwing shit, and then running and hiding out of line of sight. They're just popping in and out, so you couldn't even shoot them or blow them up if you wanted to, unless you would ready in action. But let's be honest, most of you players don't think about that shit.
Nope.
No.
So you're gonna be pebbled to death. What? How did you get that nickname? Well, we ran into some kobolds. Oh, come on, it's not that bad. He keeps calling me Pebbles. You led us into that trap, a-hole.
I'm so tired of this.
I think that'll do it for our encounter of the podcast. Thank you, Joe, for your submission, The Muddy Ambush.
Mud.
Our magic item of the podcast is the Annihilating Thunder.
Thunder.
And this comes compliments of you, Austin. So why don't you tell us about this fantastic thing?
Do you want me to just read from...
What the fuck was that?
A warhog.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. That's so gross.
AC 130 inbound.
I'm sorry, dude. You're sitting right next to me. I apologize.
Jesus.
So
Fucking
if you
tight.
what?
Oh, well.
He probably heard it through his headset.
We all heard it.
I'm going to go on... I'm going to go on to Amazon. I'm going to get a little model A10. I'm going to put it right there.
So when I fart, the whole thing goes... Oh my god. See, now I'm choking him out.
Oh no, I'm gonna die here. This is not where I thought my end would be.
Me neither.
Did you want me to just read from the top or not?
It's your baby. You can include as much or as little as you want. I'll allow it.
Cool. So because of the Ancestral Weapons having their little like...
Spiels?
Yeah, their little spiels on the weapons. I kind of wanted to write one too. I kind of feel like I wrote a little too much comparatively, but...
No, it's alright. Let's hear it.
But I wrote down, originally a Tiefling weapon, handed down from 8 generations of wielders. All were fighters for whatever they had believed in. They created loud and powerful waves of history with each swing. Or at least that's what they believed.
Nice.
It was wielded against a demigod, long forgotten now, blessed by a god with thunderous power, wielded in far distant lands, and one of the owners had given up love for this weapon, knowing its power. Made from otherworldly origins with its duskwood handle and platinum bronze mixed blade, it has the initials SF74 engraved on the side of the blade, presumably its first wielder who had fallen in battle. The number may have been the division or troop he or she had been a part of.
I thought that was like a droid or something.
This is the serial number of the
Serial number. This is where I was. But it is a two-handed sword. It is very rare and requires attunement. This bold weapon exudes power with its tinted platinum bronze blade and duskwood handle. You can almost feel the might of thunder waiting to burst at any moment. You also feel oddly grounded, as if you can't be toppled by any means. And your weapon attacks from this weapon deal an additional 2d6 damage of thunder damage. You cannot be knocked prone and have advantage on grapple checks.
So how many points did you spend and which features did you take?
It took 13 spirit points. The elemental infusion was level 2, and it took 10 of those spirit points, and Brawn was just 3.
Okay, so that's pretty good. Mm-hmm. So you used the templates basically provided in this book to make this very fleshed out, thoroughly detailed item.
Literally did not. I really didn't come up with any of it. It was just all template. Aside from like the little like flavor text that I put on top
at the beginning.
That was it. Yeah.
So that just shows you how detailed the guide is in this book. What do you guys think of this magic item?
I'm here and I hit things. It make big boom sound.
Fair enough. What about you, B?
Sounds like it was made from a book.
It does sound like it's made from a book, but that just shows how well the book is written.
I would say it does sound like an awesome weapon, though.
Yeah, I like the little detail where you talk about like the tieflings and stuff. The question is the thunder damage. How does that all does that mesh particularly well with the can't be knocked prone and stuff like that, or how do you envision this thing like working when you? I mean, is it like ringing like a tuning fork when you swing it or something like that?
I was gonna say it was like just like these like crackles of like energy, like it's like charging up almost, and then right when you swing it and it makes contact, it makes the big boom sound that is like 300 foot away.
Okay, so it's making like a kind of a mini thunder wave when you strike it. That's pretty cool. I think it's pretty interesting. The thing I can't get over is the can't be knocked down prone. That just still is like, once again, I'm just seeing a big giant two-handed kickstand when you try to fall down.
Also makes a big boom sound.
Every time somebody tries to knock you prone, POD starts playing. You can't bring me down.
Oh, I was totally thinking something else. Youth of the Nation, but you know. Anyway, I think you did a really great job with this. It's very fleshed out, and I would love to include something like this in my campaign.
Pillar sang that song, not POD. Never mind.
Not even close.
They both are. They are both bands that start with the word P. Okay.
The only song I know by Pillar is that one.
Oh wow! It sounds like you really know that one song.
Yeah, I had it, and it was like, nope. Just walked away. Battle cry.
Frontline. That's what it's called.
So
yeah,
that'll
That's a pretty
do.
good song.
That, God damn it, people!
motherfucker.
That'll do for our magic item, the Annihilating Thunder. I really think you could do a little better on the name.
Yeah, I couldn't think of anything at all.
So Matt, when you make another ancestral weapon or something, put it like a name generator.
Yeah, make a name guide
Because
dumb
Annihilating
shit for brains
Thunder
here
is,
can't do it.
yeah, it's okay.
I was
it's
trying to
not
like
horrible,
yeah.
but everything else is phenomenal. It's like it's like he's like, well, I'm gonna do this on my own, and it's only okay, but everything else is fleshed out really. I'm just giving you a hard time. It's perfectly fine. I give it a B minus.
Yeah, it's okay.
Really?
Yes, I think the name is lame.
Oh, the name.
Well,
I was
yeah.
thinking of all different things that the sword's doing.
No,
The name
this-
is lame.
No,
Yeah, the name is very
sorry,
lame.
I'm not alone.
The Thunder Annihilator.
I think you could have tied it into like the Tiefling heritage or something like that.
Yeah, I just couldn't think of anything because
I'm sorry, I don't mean
Tiefling wields thunder.
Yeah, I don't
I
mean
think
to.
fire.
Yeah, you do.
So I was like,
Infernal Thunder.
There
you go.
Oh, there you
Ooh,
go.
that's
That's
way
way better.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
Way
I
better.
was just thinking Thunderclap, and I was like, no, wait, that sounds like a
Fart.
STD.
And is already a cantrip.
Yeah.
All right, so
Infernal Thunder. We're changing it now.
Yeah,
all right,
Infernal
so
Thunder. Let's do that.
our dungeon master tip of the podcast is betraying the ancestors. Now, this is actually one of the side notes taken right out of the Ancestral Weapons. Sometimes characters will perform actions that are disrespectful to their ancestors who wield the once great and iconic weapons. In this situation, at the DM's discretion, it is possible that the powers of the ancestral weapon will fail. During this time, the weapon will count as a mundane weapon of its normal type, until such time as the ancestors' respect has been renewed. So,
I am now picturing ancestors taking away weapons power for extremely petty reasons.
you have befriended
You befriended an orc?
yeah, you befriended an orc? No, that is unacceptable. Orcs are bad, you know.
Yeah.
I think this is really interesting because, unlike previous editions, alignment doesn't really have any impact in the game at all.
Well,
Right?
not to the great used to anyway.
Well, can you name anything in alignment? I think the only
Not very many.
It doesn't affect spells or anything anymore, or paladins or anything.
An element. In the past, I have gotten over completely stupid arguments over alignment.
Yeah.
Like quick example, you can't take the spell, inflict damage, and why not? It's necrotic. It's evil. And how is it any more evil than likes to be on fire with fireball?
Right.
I think this is cool because this could be a tool for the DM to drive character behavior away from murder hobo. Because if your ancestor was a man of honor and you're stealing shit and just killing people, you'll start to lose the effect of magic. But me being the dickheaded DM that I am, I wouldn't make it just disappear. I'd make it disappear at a time you're wanting to rely on it. Like, oh, this thing does makes me immune to being knocked down, and then somebody grapples your punk ass and smashes your face right into the ground.
Or the weapon has the Doomerang feature, and it does not
And it
come
doesn't
back.
come back. Like it goes flying off a cliff.
You throw a harpy over a cliff and it just falls.
You're like, well, you're supposed to
Come back.
Oh no.
Oh.
That's what that's what inspired some of the beginning part of the writing was they had to fight whatever they believed in. So if they were like cowardice or anything like that, it would just shut off.
Oh, see,
that was
that's
the
cool.
idea.
And this really goes well with that. So you can utilize this as a DM as a tool to punish players that go beyond what their characters typically would. Now,
fourth walling the game.
I would be very careful about this because if you're just turning it on and off like a goddamn light switch, you're gonna piss your players off. But if you're I don't want to say paladin because that's too traditional. If your wizard is a good aligned wizard and just decides to fucking prod somebody off a cliff only because he wants a spell book, that's pretty selfish and self-centered. And if his magical item is tied to some sort of morality, it would just not work, and that would make sense. And you want to do that sparingly, but catch them at a time where they really are breaking their ancestors'
beliefs.
Yes, thank you.
I
Jesus,
guess.
I couldn't think of anything good to go
Yeah.
with that. Yeah, their beliefs. So I think this is a really powerful tip, and I'm glad that they included it in their Ancestral Weapons book. So
It creates another layer of balance as well.
Like how you
Yes.
can you see the guy sitting there, it's like, why didn't it work? And it goes back to a week earlier, and it's just the upper dimension. And like, Darmir, how is our bloodline handling the weapon of truth? I will be back. He's using it as a kebab. Okay, shut that shit down.
Could you imagine having true sight and suddenly you're just like, I can't see through the dark anymore. What happened?
Get ambushed by some invisible stalkers. I have true sight. You remember that time when you slashed at that young child for poking at your bread? Yeah. Your ancestors were watching, bitch. And they do not approve.
As you're currently being Julius Caesared by like 4 invisible stalkers.
Your friends just hear you from outside the cave. Enter Brute! Enter Brute! Ah!
Oh, shit.
Oh man.
I think that'll do it for our Dungeon Master tip. The betraying the ancestors. Our player tip of the pod. Does anybody else want to take this?
Sure.
There it is. Our player tip of the podcast is
Don't be a dick.
You're a little behind there, buddy. You want to try again?
I was not, I thought. Whatever.
It's not fun to me.
Okay, sounds fine to you guys. I'm taking you, but if it's bad, then you're getting a nasty gram from me when I'm listening back to it.
You always send those anyway.
That's true. Our player tip of the podcast today is called Martial Training Barbarian Berserker Frenzy.
Why do you think I took this one? Barbarian Rage!
Why don't you tell us about it?
Hey, this first up is from our patron Gabe Kleinart from Interparty Conflict.
Woohoo!
Frenzy. At 3rd level, you can go into a frenzy when you rage. When you do so, for the duration of your rage, you can make a single melee weapon attack as a bonus action on each of your turns after this one. When the rage ends, you might suffer a level of exhaustion.
Oh, that's only a minor thing.
Yeah.
So now that we know how that works,
In the debate comparing the usefulness of Frenzy, when you have full arm master feat, it can give you a bonus action to attack, which is less powerful than Frenzy, but it doesn't give you exhaustion. But the real benefit of Frenzy, in Gabe's opinion, is that the bonus action does not require you to use the attack action. So you can drink a potion and attack a BA
as a bonus action.
as a bonus action. Grapple someone and then attack as a bonus action. When you're raging, you need to be able to attack, or you else lose your rage if you don't take damage, and the bonus attack from Frenzy is invaluable for that.
So I have played many barbarians. I have never noticed this. Did anybody else notice this?
That you have to take damage or deal damage?
No. Frenzy doesn't require you to attack with a bonus action. Almost every other skill, in order to attack with your bonus action, requires an attack with the attack action.
Well, not 2-weapon fighting, but...
Yeah, 2-weapon fighting. In order to make an attack with your offhand, you have to first make an attack with your take the attack action. Feel
I
free
did
to
not
check
know
that.
I am checking that.
Yeah, because I am 100% confident in that. Anyways, so generally, in order to make an attack with a bonus action, you have to make an attack. This frenzy, yes, it has a huge drawback, but the fact that you can do something else and then still attack, you can pull a lever, you can take the help action on an ally, that's a huge one, right? Making you a very good support build. Or you can drink a potion to heal yourself, or you can administer a potion to an ally, and you can still attack, ensuring that you keep your rage, but still being a utility, being able to do utility actions, including double moving if you need to. That's something that, honestly, I've played a lot of barbarians and have never noticed. Not a once. Even when we did the class analysis, I didn't notice that. So kudos to Gabe for pointing that out. What do you guys think about that? What are some uses that makes this worth the level of exhaustion? Because that's a huge punishment. That's disadvantage on all your ability checks.
Yeah, and it only grows from there.
Yep, slowing you down and making you disadvantage on attacks and eventually killing you. And when you sleep, you can only get rid of one at a time. So you're very limited in how you can use it. But what are some other ways you could utilize this as a player to get the full use out of it that another character wouldn't be able to do?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
I don't play barbarians. I do not know a lot about them.
Or just what are some stuff you could do as an action in combat that you wouldn't be able to otherwise? I mean, I guess I gave plenty of examples. I would like to point out that grapple is still technically considered an attack. So,
Is it?
yes. So I don't know if he knew that, but it's considered a special attack. So it still does classify as attack for the purposes of raging and whatever, but including bonus actions. But
you could attack and then take a bite of your sandwich.
Or take a bite of your sandwich and then attack. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Oh, dude, we totally need to put a chart together that's like buff food. Like, you get 10% extra experience when you eat cheeseburger. What are some other stuff in combat your barbarian would do other than attack that they wouldn't normally do?
Hang on. You have a good week too, Tate.
See you later. Yeah, we're running really late.
Hopefully we see you next week, but if not, then yeah, have a good weekend then too. Because it's St. Patrick's Day, so
yeah, I guess
we'll be busy.
The whole like taking a help action and whatnot, yeah, that's kind of a big one.
Yeah, well, that's at least one of them. And once again, in order to maintain your rage, you have to attack or take damage. So as soon as you don't do that, you lose your rage, and this helps you ensure you keep your rage. So I think that'll do it for our player tip of the podcast. Don't be a dick. That'll do it for our player tip of the podcast.
Don't be a dick.
And you can avoid dickitude by
saying don't be a dick on time.
Yeah, that too. Utilizing the bonus action or the action economy of frenzy. It's not that bad.
Ding, ding, ding.
I think that's the first time I've done the martial training. We did the arcane studies before, which is like about spells and stuff. So that'll do it for our show today. Before we close out, we have one more gift to give away. Compliments of Jeff Stevens. Austin, who's our winner today?
NotHalfBad.dc.
Congratulations, NotHalfBad.dc. If you enjoy the adventure, please leave Jeff Stevens a review. Please join us on our next episode where we hear feedback from you, our heroes. We are going to be doing our class analysis on our gun mage. And I'm super excited for that because who doesn't like talking about their own shit?
It's true.
Do you want to take that?
Oh, God.
Right.
Huh? Yeah, right here.
If you have any feedback, unearthed tips and tricks, or topics you would like us to discuss, please send them to us. You can email them to us at critacademy@gmail.com or find us on Twitter and Facebook at critacademy.
Brandon?
We hope you've enjoyed your experience here at the Crit Academy. If you did, you can help others find the show by leaving hopefully a 5-star review on iTunes or platform of your choice. Or just send us a message telling us how much you enjoy the show.
Also, be sure to give us a like and a share.
Like and a share, like and a share, like and a share.
Yes, if you'd like to support our show, If you like our show and you'd like to support it, you can head on over to patreon.com/critacademy, and you can support our show for as little as $1 a month. Every dollar that you spend gets you neat stuff, as well as helps improve our show. You can also get commissions. Brandon also does art commissions, full body color art and shoulder line art. You can find prices over at Crit Academy at our Facebook page. Also, the best way to support us is pick up our Unearthed Tips and Tricks book on Dmsguild. There's a link on our webpage. Or go pick up our Pay What You Want Gun Mage, check it out, and if you like it, toss us a couple bucks.
And once I check our gun... And Unearthed Tips and Tricks, that's a copper, right?
What? Oh, yeah, so currently both of our products are copper bestsellers. So thank you to everyone that's purchased, and a special thank you to everyone that's left a review.
That lets us know we're at least above average.
Yeah. Oh, and there's a lot that don't have any ratings, like thousands and thousands and thousands. So.
And I think both of them only have 5 stars.
Yeah, we do have 5 stars. Would you like to take that there?
Make sure to subscribe to our show at critacademy.com so we can help you on your future adventures, as well as a chance to win cool prizes each and every week. You will also find links to our fellowship members there as well.
If you haven't checked out our fellowship members, Interparty Conflict, Gabe and Jeff do an awesome show where every week they answer your questions to help bring you the best tabletop experience possible. Also check out D&D Character Lab. These guys have been cracking me up. Dan and Garen are fucking hilarious. I just listened to a special bonus episode that they did. That's a Patreon thing, normally only. They did a gauntlet where they basically just kept tossing characters at one. I think it was. Dan was playing a character and he was like level 12th level, and they started with like a level 0 character or CR0 monster, and it's just started tossing ever increasing monsters at him. It was fantastic and hilarious. Check it out. You can also, Brute Force and Ignorance just recently joined our awesome fellowship. They are an D&D actual play podcast, so definitely check them out. I am your host, Justin.
And I'm your guest, Austin.
I'm your co-host, Brandon.
I'm your co-host, Ian. Thanks for listening.
Keep your blades sharp and spells prepared, heroes.
Dur-dur-dur.
Thank you for joining us today, Austin. We hope you had a blast.
Yeah.
And thanks for the patrons for sticking around. No, it was kind of a long-winded
long
show.
one. Yeah, there was a lot to cover. So thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate it.
Goodbye.
Hopefully, we'll see us again next week. Bye.
Later.